Welcome to the Pantheon. I am Ray.
I'm Chelsey.
And today we're looking at Gerald's Game. It is based on a 1992 book novel from Stephen King of the same title. It is a film starring Carla Gugino and Bruce Greenwood, a Canadian actor, wonderful actor. Well, let's get into it because you've seen this movie, so what are your thoughts on the film?
Okay, so Gerald's Game, I thought it was really thought out. So when they started it off and they're like just chilling in the room and whatever, it's like, okay, like I don't really know what to expect. And then she starts like going through the night, and then it's like, oh my god, like is she actually crazy, or is she like not crazy? And then they just had like different parts coming back, and I really enjoyed the flashbacks because then it's like you're watching it and you're like, oh wait, is her dad like this kind of person? And then throughout the movie you're really starting to like feel for this girl, and it's like, oh, like you actually aren't messed up. And then later she like I don't even know how to talk about it without like giving away the movie.
Well, this to go with what you're just saying. Yeah, it's about. I mean, she has a traumatic event that happened to her, or part of her life. It's defined her life, her choices in life, like why she married Gerald, who's a lawyer, and there was something that happened in her childhood that affected her in her decision of trying to cope or just hide something or just be a certain way. And this, because the premise is she's handcuffed to this bed. We didn't say that. She's basically, this woman is from the minute we get to this cabin,
like 5 minutes into
the movie. Yeah. So Gerald, their marriage is kind of sort of on the rocks, or they're trying to rekindle their love for each other. So they do this kinky game where, he takes the Viagra. She's like handcuffed to the bedpost. And, oh, by the way, the bedpost, I don't know if you've seen the movie Oculus.
No.
Okay, so it's the same frame of Oculus, which is the mirror. Oh. And director Mike Flanagan, who directed this movie, and he directed Hush, used the same frame word working from Oculus to make this. So that's just something, a little thing I found out about. But she's trapped on the bedpost and there's no way out. And she's spending the entire week there. I think it's a weekend?
Yeah, it was a weekend because the workers didn't come back until Monday, so they got out there like Friday, and then that's when she was...
Yeah, it's a long weekend, so probably till Tuesday. So it's 4 days, so you can probably die of starvation or lack of hot water. So there's a good chance that she may not live. So she has she has to try and escape. And the idea is, okay, because she's tied up and there's no way to go, there's no way out, she's forced to confront her own inner demons, and that's really cool because the demons come in the form of two forms. Her strength, which is an image of herself escaping in one scene. Like there's a scene where she escapes the bondage, but it's not. It's in her head because she's delirious.
Yeah, because she's like, oh, this is how you
do
escape. Yeah.
And then it starts talk to herself to try to what do we need to do? What's the situation? What's around us? How do we escape? It's her talking to herself to try to come to terms, to try to figure something out. And then there's Gerald, who represents her darker side, her not saying suicidal thoughts, but her sides where it's like this to give in.
Yeah, her doubt. Yeah.
And so that's, I guess if you want to call it the game, that's really what that is. Because I never knew what the game was. So it's like, well, the game was Heath coming in to have her way with her. That's the whole point of it. But he has a heart attack and then collapses, and then basically he's on the floor dead, and she's realizing, I'm not getting out alive either.
Yeah.
So that's the crux of it. And then there's another character that's in it, and we don't know if it's an illusion. It's in her mind. Is it real? We don't know. And every time it gets dark, the fear of this illusion or delusion, whatever you want to call it, feels really real.
Yeah, he gets a bit closer to her each night.
Yeah. So we don't know until like the end of the movie, like what is really going on. And I think the Stephen King horror in it is in the element of not knowing the difference and being trapped. The idea of being alone and isolated is one of Stephen King's strong suits. It's a connection to Dolores Claiborne, one of his other novels. There's a scene where the part where basically it's a lunar eclipse is one of the solar eclipse.
Yep.
Right. It's one of the scene themes of this film, and she's looking down this well, and the sky is red, and that scene from the well is also a portion of Dolores Claiborne, so it's part of that.
Oh, okay.
So if you read the novel or seen the movie, there is a connection between Dolores Claiborne and this. Not that it's big, but it's in the universe that is Stephen King. It takes place in Maine, another Stephen King trope, a Western Maine. So you have that, but it's not a Stephen King-esque movie necessarily. I mean, there's a movie called Bag of Bones, which is a Stephen King book, and it's came out roughly the same year, 93, 91. I'm not sure what came out, but it's in the same anthology of stories. But it has nothing to do with the movie book. Just it has the same kind of connection. So I thought that was brilliant in that sense.
The flashbacks help. I think that's really what kept the movie going, because it was like, no, the flashbacks and her talking to herself was definitely like what really kept the movie going.
Yeah, and it shows her strength, just the character of strength she has, the will to survive, and the rationalize. So it's not necessarily narrating to us, the viewer, but it's just, okay, so what do I need to do to get out? And it's so you don't know if these, like the Gerald and her version of herself is us to interpret what's going on. I mean, I never read the books, I don't really know, but like it really helps the viewer to really engage. Okay, where is she at, and where is she going, and what does she need to do, and what is the situation, and what's the reality of her situation?
Yeah.
Because Gerald is kind of like the negative thoughts, and he's pointing out, okay, you're not going to live. These are the things that's going to happen. If you do this to yourself, and if you bleed out, you're not going to survive to get to the door. You've been in this position. Sorry, you've been in this position for X amount of hours or days. Your legs won't work, or the circulation of your body will fail on you. So they tell you like up front. Okay, these are the things that will happen, in this scenario or this sequence. So what can you do to prepare for that? And it's brilliant in the sense that you totally get what's going on.
Yeah.
The stakes are real, and it really goes into that sense. So in that sense, I'll have to give this movie like a 4 out of 5. I thought it was not action-packed. It wasn't scary or horror, but there's no unknown. Everything is known to you, but it's a different kind of horror. But it's more of an actualization of survival. So, and in that sense, I just thought it was like one was a movie 127 hours, where it's a guy stuck to a rock.
Oh yes, and his limb, right? And he had to cut off his limb. Yeah.
So that is not horror. It is horror, but it's like survival. It's just a means to an end to live. And so this is an extension of that pathos, that kind of thinking. So it's just, so to me, it's not necessarily horror, but because there's a lot of psychological like flashbacks, and you're understanding the machinations of this girl's woman, like why she is the way she is, and why she married Gerald, and where this is all leading to, and how this helps her or not help her, and her future, then this makes sense. There is an actual linear thinking, though you don't know it when as you're watching until you get to the end.
Yeah.
So what do you give this movie?
I would definitely give it a. I'm probably gonna up mine. I'll bring it up to a 4, like how you did. Mm-hmm. I've watched the movie at least like 3 or 4 times, and each time I watch it, it's like what's gonna happen, but just seeing it, it's like, what if you thought about it a different way?
Yeah.
And then it was very well thought out, and the characters that they introduced in the show really played a great part in it.
No, I agree. 100%. So with that, we're going to end this off. We'll see you next time. I'm Ray.
I'm Chelsey.
Take care.